Welcome to the Special Events Studio. I am Scott North, Sales Manager for TO Live. I work with private, non-ticketed events coming into our three venues in the City of Toronto. Meridian Hall in the St. Lawrence Centre downtown, Meridian Arts Centre uptown. We are back after hiatus and rebooting to the original intent of this podcast. We will tell the stories belonging to the players in the event industry, how they got started, their journeys with stops along the way, their tales of the interesting, exciting, and captivating elements of the event world. Welcome to the Special Event Studio. Well, we're back. The Special Event Podcast. Sorry, the Special Event Studio Podcast. It's been so long, I forgot the name. We are back today. We already did one episode in our season 2 series. We're back today with a special guest for the 22nd episode. We have joining us Bob Clarke, who is the general manager at Jackson Events. Bobby, good to have you aboard.
Mr. North, thank you very much. I just want to, why did it take so long? Number 22. I mean, well, I would have hoped I would have been in the top 10, maybe top 15, but I'll take top 25. I guess that's not bad.
There you go. And you got to consider that, at some point in the history of this podcast, we're going to have 500 podcasts. So when we think about it in that term, 22 is not bad. And we had to do your boss before you. And so Andrew Jackson, that's the Jackson Events. Andrew Jackson is the president of Jackson Events and Bobby's boss. Also, full disclosure, I call him Bobby. Bobby and I go way back. We went to school together. We lived together at school. We lived together in our first jobs. So we're buddies, but we, just like when we started with Andrew way back at the start of the first season, we needed a friendly to start off with. And so we needed a friendly to start off with, Bobby. And that's why we got you.
Yeah. 30 plus years. I was telling your producer before this.
So and thank you for pointing that out. Let's make sure we do not forget Wakfa Nukobo. Wakfa at a very young age decided to come to Canada from Nigeria. I can't imagine ever doing that. I give her the highest of props for doing so, and she's thriving in Canada. She's doing great at our job. She's our social media specialist, but she's also the producer of the podcast. She's a producer of our YouTube series. She does stuff for like marketing department and the digital signage. She's awesome. She's been with us for, 8 years or 8 months. I can't remember which. She takes care of us technically, makes sure everything's on the up and up. And the only problem that we had technically before this thing is me, because I am like a 3-year-old. So Bobby, let's get started. So we tell the stories, it's the stories of people in the event industry. And now everybody has events. You know that the definition for events is something that happens, actually. That's what it is. So everybody's involved with events. I kind of break it down to the event industry is anybody that has ever heard of MPI or ILEA, or for their long terms, it's Meeting Planners International or International Live Events Association, 2 associations. If you've heard of those or you're a member of them, you're in the event industry. If you haven't, you're in the event world. I know you have. You are in the event industry. So General Manager, Jackson Events, just before I get started with your story, what's Jackson Events do?
Well, Jackson Events, we're kind of a 2-pronged approach. We're full service event management company. So we'll do full or just bits and pieces to support corporate and charity events. Then we're also kind of unique that had started off, we're a celebrity appearance organization. So we do a lot of work with athletes. Hockey still is number one, even though the Raps kind of bowed out to last night. So, but hockey with some of the greats of whether it's the Wendell Clarks, Dale Howard, just over to my shoulder, Bobby Orr and Dale Howard, Chuck, and so we put them in, and then we also run events with celebrities. So we're kind of a unique company, we're a small group of 5, but we're dynamic and executing, planning, and we love creating events, and it's a real fun job. So okay, I want to get somebody's coming down to Meridian Hall, for instance, the corporate TD Bank is having a town hall. They want to have a speaker. They want to have a sports related speaker. You guys can set them up and that kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely. And really what we work is one of the things that we pride ourselves on, and how Andrew set the company up was that we're not exclusive with anyone. So a lot of people say, well, who's on your roster? Well, we really don't have a roster. We've got people that we've got great relationships with. But really we work for the client and find out what are they looking for? What's the messaging they're trying to get across? What's the demographic that's going to be there? One of the funnest parts of my job is go out and finding who that speaker is. We had a high tech company that was doing cloud security, and I was like, yeah, I know nothing about this other than that it exists. And with some research, and we got the ex CIO of the White House, Teresa Payton was the lady's name. This was about 5 years ago, and built. She's phenomenal, and the client was like overwhelmed. Like, how'd you get her? It's like, well, just go out and do some research from speakers. People that have done speaking things, and it was great. So it's not just athletes. By far, we do a lot of work with athletes, but we always get love the challenge of finding that next or unique or somebody that's going to tie into the topic and the theme of the event that the client's putting on. So,
That's awesome, man. I didn't know that.
yeah.
But so okay, you source out a speaker that works for the to achieve the objective that the client wants. But if need be, you would also, if a company they wanted an outside agency, so to speak, to run their entire event, you do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And anytime we can do everything for the client, that's great.
Better.
We realize that a lot of places they either had maybe a potential in-house person that would handle some responsibilities, so we work alongside with their staff, or work alongside with other event companies. Uh, I don't want to say that we can do 100% of the things, so we'll have to work jointly with other companies and to execute to the satisfaction level of the client or the common goal. So certainly capable, depending on what the size, but it was no different if we work with on-site people like with your staff, if we were doing something at Meridian Hall and call upon the experts. And that's I think one of the big thing in the event business is being honest with your client and and telling them what the true capabilities are. Or what we do is just full disclosure, is to say, hey, we're going to handle this, but we also have a partner that's 10 times better doing travel or allocated with the assets to put 1,000 people to Brazil type thing. We're going to bring them as part of the team, and bring them in because they're experts with it. So, at the end of the day, it's to the benefit of the client.
Right.
Is kind of the mentality that we use.
Absolutely. I know that of you. I know that of the company, and that's the same with us. Like I I'm the so we have Meridian Hall, Meridian Arts Center, and St. Lawrence Center. And if a potential client comes in and they say, and actually there was one recently, they wanted to do and anyway, the moral of my story is you're not going to tell a client that you'll do something for them when you know that it's not in their best interest. You're there for in the
No,
best interest of the client.
no. From speakers, that's how I always say, with the celebrities of, I'll give you the good, bad, and the ugly on it, because you're going to find out anyways, right? So
Yeah,
if said celebrity has, I don't know, had something negative in the news, they're going to find out. So I'd rather tell you up front and let's address it. A lot of cases is the internet has falsely or misappropriately reported on things, and they only hear the bad thing. They don't hear that, oh, that actually was incorrect what was reported, and that could potentially tarnish said celebrity. And we take it actually personal, because a lot of if we work with someone, we gain a relationship, whether we have done it once or twice. That was formed from day one when the organization was formed, as to build relationships, be on site, and work for the client, but make sure that everything goes smoothly with the celebrities. And you know, uh, there's been some people that have been falsely accused of even minor things, but I take it almost personal. It's like, kind of shake your head and say, no, you don't know this person. That's not their character. That's not what they've done. They. Unfortunately, there is fake news out there, and we try to try to move past it more or less. But the good, bad, and the ugly, be upfront with them, and also there's from the athlete world, everybody wants a keynote. What's a keynote? Well, what's the messaging you want to get across? We push. There's some people that are very well known, but are better off doing moderated Q&As, and you're going to get the messaging. You're going to keep it online, and so we always put our 2 cents in. I'll say, because we do care about the relationship with the celebrity. We only want to put them in situations where they're going to excel, and we're not going to put somebody in just to make a dollar. A lot of our clients are what we call one-time, once a year clients. That they do this event. They come and rent out Meridian Hall and bring their staff in and have a guest keynote speaker. And they call upon us every year to do that. So that's fine. Of course, we'd like to do it 2 times a year, but every year is fine. And we'll bring in, okay, this year we had this person, next year let's do this. What's with your theme? And really try to knock it out of the park every time is the goal.
Absolutely. Excuse me. And that was my point with that. Like we're suppliers in the event industry. Well, I'm a venue supplier. You're a services supplier, and it is completely in our best interest to make sure that we do everything possible that the client meets their objective. And at times there's clients out there thinking that, we're just out to make a buck. No, that doesn't do anything if you're making a buck and that client is leaving because they didn't hit their objective. And they're telling all their friends in the industry, and it does nothing. So
especially on the venue side, Scott, is where do we get to find out about different events or what's better is through our we need to be the experts, the subject matter experts, but we know what venues will work, or we work with the people at those venues to say, I just got off from a major hotel chain that are struggling with staffing right now in Toronto. And, they're, hey, Bob, like, it's going to be tough. And I was like, all right, so what are my options? What else can we do? Like the event's going May 5th, like it's only in a couple of days. What do we need to do? But you need to work with everybody, be, be full transparency at the end of the day is going to make the best. So whether it's with the venue, the client, everything is, one of the best parts of events is everybody's like, oh, it's great event. There's no stress, didn't see anything. Everybody had smiles on all day long. Well, that's the front we're going to put on. Like in the back, or, the back of the house, it could be a complete mess up, but
chaos.
The show is going on. And that's the part at the end of the event, we just kind of go, oh my God. And as event people and running venues and doing like that's kind of the, wow, we did it without the client really knowing there was any issue and learn from at the end of the day of what occurred. But
absolutely.
Those are never let them see client, you sweat, right? Like,
that's took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. Finishing my words. You see that, Kobe? That's how long we've known each other. So, okay, Bobby. Now, just before I get into a couple questions where you're going to tell us your story. So, we're back. Are we out of the pandemic? How's business?
Yeah, God, I hope we're out of it. But my honest is we're cautiously moving forward with a lot of things. Corporate and charitable events are cautiously moving forward. We're busy right now. The phone is ringing off the hook. People want to do things. They want to get out there. The events that we have done have gone very well, and no outbreaks reported from them. So, I really think this summer is going to be, we need to get through this. And, then hopefully by the fall that we'll be back into kind of more normal things from the event side of it. But from our side, a lot of people are, haven't done much for 2 years, as you know. And, so the budgets are there. They want to do it. People are excited to get out and do it. I think they're still just being a little cautious as to who wants to be first out doing it, right? Especially on the charity side, is like, they're don't want to be first out, but a couple that have gone through, they've been successful and haven't had any, negative feedback from an outbreak or things like that. So, we're trying to remain optimistic and push forward of getting things going in person.
Alrighty. Okay, good to know about. Good to get a glimpse of Jackson Events.
Yeah.
Great company. I know that firsthand. I've helped the guys out a few times. They do a great job. But okay, let's talk a little bit more about Bob Clarke. So, where did it all start? Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in West Side Toronto, Mississauga, Port Credit area.
I
Went
forgot about it.
loved it there. Moved out to went to school at Durham College, where you and I met. We're roommates, and then met a girl from the east side of Toronto, and she said she would never go to the other side of Yonge Street. So been out on the east side ever since, and most of my brother's still in the West End, but most of the family's kind of moved out of Mississauga now, anyways, and so there's not really much connection back to the old hood.
Mississauga, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, when you're growing up, what do you want to do for a living?
Well, with a name like Bobby Clarke and as a hockey player, I wanted to play for the Philadelphia Flyers, not the Toronto Maple Leafs. As I like to say, I got the same name for the hockey fans. I don't have the same game. I tried to be a dirty hockey player. I was pretty good at that, But no, I mean, growing up, Toronto, I was a Leaf fan, but also because of the name, kind of affiliated with the Philadelphia Flyers, and wanted to be a hockey player.
Yeah, I do. I must tell a story. A buddy of mine, his name's Darcy McEachran. We hung out a lot, and probably more towards when we first started hanging out. And I mentioned, I thought, doing something with Bobby Clarke. Yeah, we're going to a concert or a ball game or a hockey game or something. And so I talked about this a few times, and then so he knew another guy better than I, and so he's like, he's really hanging out with Bobby Clarke. He's talking about Bobby Clarke all the time. The guy says, no, it's his buddy from college. So Darce will never let me live that one down. But and to this day, if the name Bobby Clarke is brought up, like Darcy rides me about it. He goes, yeah, Bobby Clarke.
Especially when they finally met me and go, yeah, that's not the same guy. Nowhere near.
Yeah.
So,
but Bobby is former athlete. Didn't you go to an Allen Cup in senior A hockey?
Yeah, so I did play. Didn't play any major junior, but did play competitive hockey all the way going up. Went to 2 Allen Cups with London Admirals. We lost in the finals to Truo back in, I think it was like 96, and then went the next year. Thought we had a better team. We had loaded up, and we got our butts kicked by the big boys out west. They just completely manhandled us. I think it was like 2 or 3 games that we were done. So but it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to play senior hockey out in Western Canada. It is really still is a big thing. Allen Cup is Don Cherry used to cover it every year so that was from the ice side of things. It was my pinnacle of my career.
And then did you not win a Canadian championship in ball hockey as well?
Yeah, actually, I had more success in the arena on the floor than I did in the arena on the ice. I actually won 3 Canadian championships with the Fernview Rangers in Toronto. We were the first team to win 3 consecutive. The boys will like that, and actually was lucky enough to win a world championship for Team Canada at the inaugural World Championships. Which I just reminded an ex-NHL player today because he won one like a couple of years after. Alexander Burrows, who's now assistant coach of the Montreal Canadiens, was texting with him, and I said, hey, we have something in common to try to hook him into coming to an event with us. So, but yeah, hockey.
Fernview Rangers in Toronto. I remember going to the games and that was when we lived together. We lived together at school, and then after school we lived together when we first started our jobs. Yeah. That was then. But what, you won 3 Canadian championships and consecutive in a world? That would have been when we were living together. I forgot about 2 of them.
No,
What?
we won three in a row, which we were the first team. Like ball hockey was huge in Toronto, especially was a lot of ex players actually like Stevie Thomas and Billy Derlago, back old Leafs. They used to play in the off season. You'd never see it now, but imagine seeing Connor McDavid stroll into the rink. But yeah, we were the first to win three in a row, and then there came some great powerhouses after us. A team called Midnight Express from Toronto, Brampton area. They ended up, and a team from Montreal also knocked it out for like, I want to say they might have won 5, 6, 7 in a row, like just killed our record. But, and they were dynamite teams. I remember going after I quasi retired, went and watched, and I was like, thank God we did it then, boys, because I'm not sure we would have been able to beat them. So, but yeah, it was a great sport. I played a little bit of lacrosse growing up, so I was always indoor in arenas, anyways. And then just my brother and my cousins all played, so I was like, wanted to go play with some family, and it became kind of our summer thing. And then it just grew and grew and grew. So. And I got to, quite honestly, through ball hockey, met a lot of people, great networking, but got to see all of Canada. Of like, we would travel to these, got to go to St. John's, Newfoundland for the first time for ball hockey championships. Got to go to
That's quite the town.
Vancouver, Edmonton. Hey, let me tell you, best place in Canada to go. But make sure you go between July and August, because any other time you may never get in or out because of the weather conditions to get in. But the people of Newfoundland are one of a kind. It's they made the Broadway show about it. If you didn't see, it was when 9/11 happened. It was they truly define. They would give you the shirt off their back, even if they even couldn't afford to. It was an unbelievable place. I'm not going there this year because of COVID. They've canceled the event, so it's 2 years in a row. But it is a highlight on my calendar to make sure that we're back for the Heart and Stroke Hockey Heroes Weekend is the event that we annually do out there.
And I've been in St. John's, Newfoundland a few times through my old job, hockey. But the last time I was there, I said before that I've helped out their company, and they needed some help, so I went out there for a weekend for this hockey tournament. I agree. It's an unbelievable, one of a kind place to go, and a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun there.
Yeah.
So at your athlete growing up, because you played beach volleyball, you played volleyball in school. I think you guys won something when we were in school.
Yeah. They didn't have any hockey, so 6'3", little slider back then, and went and played too slight to play basketball, not very good at it either, and so played volleyball. We won a gold medal at Durham College. It was small school then, but it was a lot of fun.
And I know that your bride played volleyball and fastball, and athlete as well. I know that your kids are. I ran into your daughter Cassidy at Durham College, our alma mater. Cassidy's now coaching volleyball.
She is. She's assistant coach. She's been there 2 years. She played for 4 years. Had a great career. That she got a job right out of school. She's a law clerk down at a large law firm, Castles in Toronto, and she's coaching. Assistant coach, got Tony Clarke, who's no relation, but a great head coach, brought her on. She's been part of the OVA mentor program, so she does aspire to be a head coach at probably a secondary or institution down the road. She's certainly learning and taking and really enjoys staying a part of the game that way. And my other daughter just won bronze medal this past weekend at 17U. She plays for DRVC. Great player. It's got a.
That's volleyball, right?
As volleyball, we are full on volleyball. My wife, we have volleyball. Like our parents, our friends are like, yeah, enough volleyball. Let's talk about something else, because no one really is a big volleyball fan. But
I did play volleyball in high school, but that was it. But Bobby, do you go watch your daughter coach volleyball?
Yes. Yes.
Nothing wrong with that, buddy. I would do that.
As my wife said, you're supporting your child. And I was like, I've supported her. I'm supporting her financially still. How's that for support? And mainly why we do it is A, we enjoy the game. B, we still are friends with the other kids on the team. that she would have played with, and it's our alma mater, so both of us played there. So we've kind of got back into give a little plug. Durham College runs great athletic programs. It's certainly grown since you and I attended,
Oh
but
my goodness.
yeah, it's
It's
unbelievable. And Ken
unbelievable.
Babcock is the gentleman. He's done a phenomenal job with all the facilities and and what they get, it's really is a first run college. So
I,
highly
I
recommend.
I
Highly
worked for
recommend.
Ken Babcock way back then at the athletic complex. The athletic complex is a different beast now.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. And when I ran into Cassidy there, my daughter was playing basketball there, and I did go to the main desk, which it's the
oh,
place is just awesome. And I
yeah,
asked for
yeah,
Ken and
and only growing. Ken's got great plans, and he's fully invested in it. So give a lot of credit to him and his staff, Mike Duggan, another guy there. But yeah, it's and it was a great experience for her. So we'll see. I don't think my second daughter is going to be going there. She's got aspirations for some other stuff. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
awesome,
It's
awesome.
in that recruiting time frame now because she's just finishing grade 11. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, so you got one year
One more
high
year.
school left, eh? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So okay, now so you went to Durham College.
Yeah.
Might I assume that you took something event related at Durham College?
Well,
Like, you trying to be
so,
an event general
yeah.
manager of an event company?
Well, they did. I'm not sure they really had event true stuff back then, but since I didn't make it as a hockey player, I thought, well, let's go into sports administration, sports management, and a lot of that was based around truly events. We did a lot of stuff learning in there, so there was a certain connection to it, whether it be from the administrative side point, but. Went in there and out of school was working for a couple of sport related companies. One was a institutional sporting goods company and was nice because got a lot of good product demo stuff and discounts on sporting goods as a young guy, and then worked for like a pro license apparel for a couple of years, and then unfortunately, with a lot in the sports business, and even in the event management, is that from a young guy I wanted to be more aggressive, is now married, and I bought a house. I was like, I need to make some money here, pay the bills, and an old contact from ball hockey hired me to be in sales in the transportation industry, and thus left the sporting event business and spent about almost 20 years in the transportation and loved it. Grew from the ground up. Worked for some large companies like Pure Later and Day and Ross, and had middle management, director of sales type jobs, and enjoyed it. Very. It was, even though it wasn't sports, it was very sporty. It was back then when I started, was a very male dominated. It's now thankfully changed. It's certainly. It has grown. And then really at kind of I call my midlife crisis. It was like, I want to do something that I'm really passionate about. I want to do something for the rest of my life that I enjoy going to work every day. And so it wasn't Jackson Events. It is now Jackson, but I went and took a job with a log home company as director of sales and marketing with a
Oh
log home
yeah,
company. And
sorry, director sales and marketing.
yeah, for
A
log
log
home,
home
True
company.
North Log Homes, great company, great product. Anybody looking to build a log home, it is the best technology in the world. Um, my wife made it very clear once we had moved up and started living that there was not a hope in that she was moving to Bracebridge, Ontario. So that was a bit of a challenge, and then really we agreed after almost a year that we should probably move on, and then that's when I found I'd gone back as you introduced me to Andrew Jackson, and we had talked a lot, and then helped him out as you had on the side type thing, and then just right time, right place. His company was growing, and joined. Geez, almost close to 12 years. I think it's almost 12 years now, and I've loved it. From day one is it might say Jackson, and he wouldn't be upset for me saying this. Might say Jackson Events on the door, but I truly consider it mine, and he allows me to be that entrepreneurial and kind of run it like it's mine, and that goes for our entire team. So when you get something like that and you enjoy doing it, enjoy working with the clients that we do, fringe benefit, absolutely get to meet some of my hockey heroes that. At the end of the day, they're no different, really, in a lot of ways as you and I, and it's just it's business, and it's the sports business and event business is it is enjoyable. It's not 9 to 5, but I enjoy that now. If you work, we live by the work hard, play hard mentality, and it's a lot
I,
of fun.
and I have to point out too, because people will think this, and I don't. A lot of people out there know or not know. I started my career when Bobby and I were living together at Overley Boulevard in Toronto. There at the with the National Hockey League at the Hockey Hall of Fame, and then so worked about 15 years in hockey. But it changed. Yeah, we grew up playing the game, and we grew up idolizing these people. But it changes you when it's your job, when it's your career.
Yeah.
Yes, there's still a little bit of you deep down that you used to idolize this person, but you have to be in a professional
Yeah.
relationship with the person. So that kind of gets set, that's left at the door as you come in, kind of thing. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, it is business, and it's just more of. I don't think you can be as much as you're in awe and going, oh my God, that's Bobby, or type of thing. Hey, I got a job to do, and it involves working with and doing things with. If that's the scenario of but what I've found is you know they want to be treated just as anybody else would want to be treated. They don't, the especially the athletes in Toronto. I don't know if the Canadian rubs off on them, but everybody loves to be known as a celebrity. But the way that they want to be treated is just to be treated like a decent human. Really allows for that to step over, and then you step aside and go, wow, that Bobby Orr or Wendell Clark or whomever it is. I honestly don't have any bad to say about any. No, I wouldn't anyways, but the but there
Yeah,
everyone has been a great interaction. So
I
makes
must say,
makes it
because
fun.
and you'll agree with me. Hockey guys are some of the best. And
Yeah,
you've worked in other sports and that, and
yeah.
hockey guys, they're some of the best.
Yeah, and that's where I will say that that's a Canadian thing. That's
Yeah,
the one thing, and but that's not. Some of my favorites though are not Canadian, and not hockey players. Are Pinball Clemens, as much as I call him, and as a Canadian, but he's one of the best humans in this world. If you ever, there's nobody that would
that's
can honestly say would have a bad word about that man. Of just the infectious smile, the energy, and his genuine, you know. And he remembers your name. Like, I've only met him a half dozen times in my life, and it's, hey Bob, how are you? And it's like no one's prompting him. He's like, I was like, how the hell does he remember me? Type thing. But when you meet people like that, it really brings a special bond of special you know relationship that you get to share with these people. So
for
it's nice.
sure. And remembering a name is an art, and such a,
It's a skill.
the best sounding word to anybody out there is the sound of their own name. And so if
Yeah.
somebody can remember it, particularly somebody that meets millions of people and it's a celebrity, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
But okay, so Jackson Vance, 12 years now, pandemic. Like, did you stay? Were you staying? Were you working the whole time, or anything changed in the pandemic?
Yeah, no, it was tough. Let's be tough. Certainly was. We were doing our best as to stay connected with our clients. We had to become experts at virtual events. We were doing virtual watch games, virtual, you know, Wendell whiskey with Wendell, things with Lanny McDonald and Yvonne Cornway, and so it was certainly we were just trying to stay busy. It did come down to the point where I had to make a decision with COVID. I did leave. I thought it was a great opportunity. Went and worked with the Oshawa Generals for a very brief time. it was always been a dream of mine to work for a true hockey team. So it was a great opportunity. It's a great organization. It was very, very short, as it was. As it turns out, just as I had accepted it, the world started to open, and Andrew was able to come back and say, "Come on, let's get this back going. Let's get this the old team back together," type thing. And unfortunately, I this is I love it here. This is I didn't want to make any decisions. Had to for personal reasons, and but when the doors were open and the opportunity was presented back. I came running. So it was,
Right on.
it was hard to do, extremely hard to do. I've left other organizations for the betterment. This was survival. And so when things were able to come back, it was nice to come home as kind of
Awesome.
call it. Yeah.
Meant to be then, eh?
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
he thinks the same way, but
Well, I will. I grew up with Andrew. We've been buddies for life. So I'm going to call him after this and see if he thinks the same, Bobby.
He's down. I keep kind of going because his office down the hall. He's off. He's just recovering from COVID. He's had a
Oh, is he?
yeah. So, but he's good. He was going to come in the office. I said, "Hey, how about we just give it one more day here? I'll see you Monday." Let's So, but
Sees that pesky old
yeah,
COVID.
but all good. My mother is recovering. So it's really gone through, but fortunately enough, nothing severe. All just kind of tough head colds is what everybody's describing it as. So
Yeah.
I think it's inevitable that we're all gonna. It's. I said to some friends this week is, can I pick when I get it though? When I got like a quiet week, I don't want to get it when we've got. Can you imagine? I'm looking at my schedule, going like next week would be good to get it. It's kind of slow, and for the next 3 weeks after that, it's like I need to be on site at events and things like that. So it's almost like I wish it was get infected and then you're good, but as we all know, it's that's not the case. So just keep practicing social distancing, masking. I'm a fan of. So
Good stuff. Okay, Bobby, what's the craziest event story that you can share? And I know there's probably a lot of crazy ones. Can't, and it's okay. Crazy can some
define that.
you had like if you had to do an event last minute that because of some like we had to do something one time. The Weekend, the band, The Weekend. They were playing Massey Hall, but they couldn't fit what they were getting, and it was overnight that they came and played 2 shows at what was then the Sony Center, and they were awesome. The show was awesome. Crazy following though. I'll tell you that. But anyway, something like that. Like so, last minute they had to do, or star-studded event that you ran, or crazy event.
Crazy. There's probably one I won't talk about because I'll say this because this guy also, and I is if you Gord Stellick and I are together, ask Gord Stellick about the event that I threw him in as an MC. That is a crazy story that is not meant for a lot of years. But last second events, we get a lot of calls for how long should it, will it be available? We could pull that off. Like, I think it's because relationships that you're able to, if it's celebrity based, hey, I'll call them right now. Like, I always say to my friends, if you ever get a hold of this phone, the amount of contacts in here that people would love to have from just hockey world. I think I'll go to one of we like to, pump our chest about or brag a bit is the NHL hired us for their top 100 program that they did a few years ago. And it was a major feather in our cap as to working alongside the NHL with their, with their alumni team, and where we helped coordinate. It was half the program took place in Toronto as part of the outdoor game with Detroit, and the other half was out in LA. And I'll tell, I love telling the story. So I'm sick. You can't tell here. I'm 6'3", about 250 pounds, pretty big guy, only getting bigger, unfortunately. And I'm standing in there in the green room behind the stage with the top 100 players of all time in the NHL. And in this room, I'm starstruck. Gretzky, Messier,
Top 100. That's
Esposito,
the
Cornway,
that's
or and then there's the new players like Crosby, who we mainly deal with the retired players. So Crosby, Jonathan Taves, Patrick Kane, and they're actually they're not. I wouldn't say Sid's little, but they're little compared to me, or shorter. They're a lot better shape. Anyways, the three of them are standing there, and Patrick Kane goes, and he's just in awe, looking up at the sky. And and we're handing out these black jackets that they're wearing, and he goes, "Look at the size of him." And I looked at, well, there's Eric Lindros, and they're going. He goes, I would never even go anywhere near the corner to go into the corner, to go near Eric. And Eric makes me look small. He's a big, big man. He's a big teddy bear, though. He does great work with charity. But it was just amazing to be in that circle, to hear, the way that they talk to each other, and, the friendships that, the wars that they had on ice, all these top 100, but friendships that they have and respect that they have for each other off the ice. But, that was an amazing event the whole week. It was kind of bad planning on Andrew and I. We had spent, I think I should got to get this right. We spent like 6 nights in Vegas with a client, doing golf and dinners and some fun gambling. And then we drove to LA right at the same time as demonstrations were taking place because Mr. Trump had been elected. We arrived there, and I thought, well, LA's given us a nice, 400,000 protesters outside our hotel as we land on to run this program. So it was like a 3-week away from home. LA's I love California. It was phenomenal. My family actually came out. My daughters were able to spend some time out there.
nice.
We spent a couple of days afterwards. So that event really sticks out, from A, being hired by the NHL to help them with an event, but B, to execute and be around, the top 100 was phenomenal.
And I will say that you guys did one of your what's the charity that you do that's got the everybody gets a team, and then you get
Yeah.
an
The
ex
our
NHL.
Easter seals. There, we do a lot of work with Easter seals, kids with physical disabilities. Phenomenal charity. I've made many friends. Fortunate that both my daughters, as both your kids, Scotty, are able and don't have any disability. But the one of the things that you know they hear a young man, Casey's his name. He's a great guy. We call him a friend these days. So that he never got invited to sleepovers or birthday parties because he has cerebral palsy and he uses a walker. Some of them are confined to utilizing wheelchairs and things like that. And when I heard that, I was just like, wow, like the most simplest things of not being included in stuff like that really kind of hit home. And, the work that, I mentioned Eric Lindros. Eric runs one of these hockey events and has fully bought in. Like this guy, he's involved in our meetings. He's out there getting teams and getting sponsors and utilizing his network. So it's phenomenal to see that when the athletes give back. I mean, going to make an appearance and help them make money is certainly one thing, one way of doing it. But walking the walk and talking the talk like Eric Lindros does is phenomenal. And he's raised in 10 years over $3 million just on his alone. And we're actually making some changes and improve, expanding it. I certainly improving. It's not the right word, but looking to actually, have another 10-year run to make a lot more than $3 million, all for Easter Seals Ontario. So it's a lot of our work done there. We do a lot of work with Heart and Stroke Foundation and Make a Wish. We're working on a great program right now of I want to be a rock star and I want to be a hockey player combo at the Royal York in Toronto. So when you see these, they're all great causes. We do with Princess Margaret with their road hockey to conquer cancer. So there's many great causes out there that we try to support, and celebrities certainly enjoy being at them, and we kind of put it all together.
I'll give you guys kudos because I mean, as you mentioned, all of these you do like they're, you're obviously you are a for-profit company, but
Yeah.
you do all these great causes. You help them generate all these money that goes to kids like Casey.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so the Easter seals, that was Lindros one, and
Yeah.
I need to throw out a shout out to our VP of development. And
Yes.
philanthropy, Sandra
Sandra.
Bellisario.
It,
She used to do that stuff with you, right?
well, and kudos to Sandra. She, I don't want to misquote, but she was like the leader of getting it off the ground with Andrew and another lady, Charlene. Like they were at the time. And you're talking about event. So the first event, Andrew had presented some stuff. They had a shortfall in some fundraising. Hey, what can we do? And within 7 weeks, I mean, I was there at the first one, but not a part of it. But within 7 weeks, they put the whole thing together and made money. So, yeah, Sandra was seriously involved in the creation and the first few years with
Well,
Easter Sales.
I'll be able to tell Sandra that we mentioned her name on this, and she'll be now probably the fifth person that will listen to this, along with my mom and dad and your mom.
My mom, your mom and dad, hopefully our better halves, and so, someone else.
So yeah, so you might not be getting anybody buying any business from you, Bobby, from this, but hey, um, and the segue was for the Easter Seals thing. I think it was one of your first. It was out in Oshawa. Knowing these guys, I get a few fringe benefits, and but I get to go along to things like you're raising money for a good cause, and so I went out to Oshawa that time, and these guys introduced me to Eric Lindros. I got a picture with him. I'm 5'9". I look like that word I use a lot. I look like a 3-year-old beside him. He is a mountain of a man,
Yeah.
but a great person. And then just recently, Bobby called me up. I was at an industry event that luckily right downtown, and he said, "Hey, do you want to come to the Conn Smythe dinner again? Another big event. That was its 71st year. That's crazy." But it's
Yeah,
for Easter Seals too, correct?
for Easter Sales too. It's the largest and oldest sports dinner in Canada for sure, maybe North America, but yeah, it was a great cast. Eric was being honored at that one. Eric and
Yeah.
Joe Carter.
That was a great event, and
Yeah.
but I get the fringe benefits. But part of the conversation when Bobby says, "Hey, Scotty, you want to get over here to the Royal York?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm a seat filler, aren't I?" And he said, "Oh yeah. Somebody got sick." I said, "Thanks, Bobby, but I'll be there." And it was a great night, fantastic night.
Well,
I
as
also
I said right off the hop, like full disclosure, like we're too old to lie, Scotty. It's just
Yes,
like
I know.
and
And he says you can stay over. I got a room, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not staying over. Well, I stayed over. So we had a good night. We had a good night.
yeah. Well, if we're gonna have a couple of beverages, make sure you got a safe way of getting home, right? And then what
Absolutely.
better way than not go home? And I think both of our wives would probably support that. The funny
Oh
part.
yes. Our wives have changed over the years. They don't mind that at all.
No.
Not that they did before, but they might have enjoyed spending more time with us before. But
Yeah.
now they wouldn't mind a break away from us. I
Yeah.
think.
Absolutely.
So, okay, Bobby, you've been in. We're both around the same age and been in our careers for around the same time, and you've done a lot, met a lot of people, had a lot of experiences. Can you give us a life lesson that you've learned along the way that you'd like to pass on to maybe some of our younger cohorts?
Well, hard work pays off. Is kind of what is one of the things that I'm trying to instill in my children, and in of showing up every day and doing a good job, and you know with my daughter, and I've said to her, put your hand up if you don't understand something. Ask questions. Don't be ask a million questions, but ask some questions, especially if you don't know. And unfortunately, a skill that a lot of people and guilty as charged is explaining or giving direction. I always find is we think we know what we're trying to get across, but sometimes it certainly doesn't be come across that way. So I say to young people, we just hired a fantastic young lady, Kennedy, in November, and I said to her, put your hand up. I said, we're busy when we get busy, and that's where little details get dropped off. Put your hand up and ask. So work hard, show up every day. We do live by, again, the work hard, play hard. I said, don't worry, we'll get time off. You're going to get more than your time off. Be open up front. And if you don't know, put your hand up and let's ask. So, it's kind of a way we do things around here, because we carry many hats. I joke and say, Wednesday's garbage day. Well, we take the garbage out ourselves. It's a small office and we do everything. So, like, you're going to do multiple things, and if you don't know how to take the garbage out, put your hand up and ask. So
right on. And I will say to our young friend with us here, Kobe Wackfun, you can take that advice from Bobby, because I'm not always the best either at explaining things and whatnot. So you please put your hand up. Tell me if you need to know something. But she does, Bobby. She's pretty good.
Yeah. And there's nothing. There's no sign of. It's not a sign of not being smart or anything. It's actually, I think it's the other way around, of making sure we're on the same page. And I don't want to go down the path of, you go all the way down the path and go, oh, that's not what they were looking for. So, anyways, it's kind of what we try to run by here.
Awesome. Well, Bob Clarke, Bobby, as I like to call him. Hey, man, it was great to have you on today. Thank you for taking the time. We're on a nice Friday afternoon, so I wish you and your family a great weekend. I'll look forward to getting caught up in the near future, and maybe having a beer together.
Sounds good, Kobe. Thank you very much for the technical smoothness. Once we had him figured out. But thanks, Scott, and everybody enjoy your weekend. Have a great weekend.
All right, buddy. Take care.